now back to your regularly scheduled program.
Alright, yeah. So recently we decided to watch the new season of Jujutsu Kaisen. I guess what's before we even dive into that, I guess what's your thoughts on just season one and the show in general? I guess.
So I like Jujutsu Kaisen. I think it's a good show. Um, I prefer the manga probably because with the manga, it doesn't really feel slow paced. I wouldn't say it's a slow paced show, but like a lot of the things that people were complaining about, I feel like you wouldn't notice it if you're reading it as a manga. A lot of the people were saying that like the action scenes were kind of like too consistent, really, with the show, like too long. And I feel like when you're reading the manga, a lot of things that people complain about, it's like it's not noticeable because the animation obviously adds on more to the action compared to a picture. So the action should probably be like longer. But the show in general, I think it's a good like. I wouldn't say it's as good as everyone is calling it to be, but I would say it's a good like seven for me. The first season,
Mm,
and then this the second season is Shibuya arc. No, right?
it's the hidden inventory art and the Shibuya art.
Yeah. This the second season can't hold you. It felt slow when you're watching it versus when you're reading it because I think because when you read the manga, everything kind of goes by quick because you're reading it instead of watching what's going on. But I gotta say that the animation was pretty consistent with the manga.
Okay. For me, I thought it was pretty good. Like I just thought it was an okay show. I think the only reason why I watched it was because people were hyping it up. So whenever people hype things up enough for to force me to watch it, I instantly go in like critical. Obviously, just because I when people say because people say this is peak anime. This is the best the new anime out right now, and when I watched the show, it just felt very generic to me and plain. Other than obviously the
Hmm.
animation and the action, like I feel like when talking about the show, you have to take out the animation and the action. Like of course the animation's great. Like of course the action's good. It's Mappa. Like what do you expect? So majority of the things that I criticized were strictly plot and character based. Like, of course, like I said, of course the action is great. Of course the animation is great, and yes, it does add to the show. But I don't just watch shows for action. Otherwise, I would have loved to go to high school. Like, you know what I mean? Um,
Yeah.
so yeah, for me, I would say the first season. If you take out the animation and the action, it's a five. But adding that on, it's like a six for me. The first season, I didn't go back and watch
Hmm.
it or anything. So maybe if I watched it again, maybe I would watch it differently. But the first time I went through, I only the first time actually I went through the first time I watched it. I watched only like the first 13 episodes because that was all that was available on HBO Max, and then I dropped
Hmm.
it, and then people were hyping it up, so I was like, all right, let me just finish it, and then that's when I finished it, and I was like, okay, I see, I understand, I get the point. But going into, I said personally, like nothing in the story interested me enough to watch a season two. Like I really wasn't planning on watching season two at all. Like personally,
Hmm.
um, it was just everybody hyping it up, like, oh yo, this next up, and me always seeing like just some of the fights clips on social media going viral or whatever. I was like, all right, I'm gonna just let me just wait until the season two's over, and then I'll just watch the whole thing. So yeah, that's pretty much what we did. Yeah, I guess we could just jump into it. We'll do just like the pros first, and then the cons, and then we'll just talk about how we felt about it overall. Um, But yeah, let's just go into the pros. What do you have for the pros, man?
So obviously in season two, the pros, the first pro is gonna be the action. The action was pretty good. It really what I have to say about the action is really like they really like showed a lot of action this season compared to the original. When they got to the second half of the season, when they kind of got over that Ghetto and Gojo arc, kind of the past. Um, I think the action was pretty good, and another pro is that like it did some explaining on what's actually going on here, kind of, and it's weird because I feel like the show it does a lot of showing than explaining. Even though I do like showing at times, I feel like it's not enough. The information that they're trying to convey to the audience is not enough. So like I can't really say the showing is the showing idea that they use is really a pro at times. It is a pro at times, but it's sometimes a con.
Yeah, there's like
Because
I was gonna say there's like a midway. There's like a level of like complexity where it's like it's a little too much to a degree. Like sometimes shows like it's like obviously not every time something is complex means it's good. Like you know what I mean? Like I think there has to be a balance. Like everybody has to understand what's going on. And I'm not gonna lie, there were a few points where I didn't really understand what was going on. But yeah.
like you have to really pay attention. The only reason why I know what's going on is because I reread that arc twice already, so I kind of know what's going on. If you rewatch it or reread it, you'll understand. But basically, like when as a first time watcher, you kind of wondering like, okay, why they're showing this Ghetto dude and Gojo and what's the plan? And then what takes away from the season is that you feel like you're finally figuring it out, like what's the objective of the other side. Then you find out that what that person from the flashback isn't the current person that they're fighting right now, but just in that same person's body. So it kind of takes away from that whole flashback. Like, what was the purpose of showing us that flashback if the objective is not to make the Japan all sorcerer land? You know what I mean? So that's what kind of messed me up. I was like, oh damn, like they kind of just basically threw that whole idea of what the objective of the curses were. Even though some of them did have that objective, it wasn't like the true villain's objective.
Yeah, I know what you mean.
And then I just feel like a lot of characters were introduced and were just killed. Like I was like, okay, what's the point of bringing up these characters and then killing them off so like fast, just to have people dare to die? I feel like there should have been more relevant people that we built up in the show that we care to see pass away. You know what I mean? Because I did not care about Mechamaru dying really too much. I guess I'm going over cons right now, to be honest.
I mean, I put down my pros, so it's like if you can't remember any pros, I mean, I could just go through mine. It's fine.
And then with the pros, I said action already, but I would have to say that by the end of the season, you start to see character growth that's come into play with Yuji, the main character. And I think that's very important because he didn't seem like a character that really thought about anything or cared about anything. And then after this season, you start to see like, okay, this guy's going through a lot now. Like he's more serious of a Jujutsu sorcerer now because he's thinking about all the friends that he lost and what he has to do, and he has to have like a new motive on why he's a Jujutsu sorcerer compared to how he was in the beginning. In the beginning, he was just doing it like it was for fun, but now he has purpose. I feel like more of a purpose as a main character.
Oh, that's it? You done so far? Anything else?
Yeah, that's all right now.
Alright. So, for pros, the first thing I put the entire hidden inventory arc. I think that obviously the Shibuya arc is fun with the action and stuff, but I feel like the hidden inventory arc was just a more solid story, like with characters you care about, and like the steps that they took. Because it took me a little bit to figure out that it was taking place in the past. I don't know why. It just took me a little bit to kind of catch on what was going on. But then once I figured out what was happening, I was like, okay, this is actually interesting. Like finding out more about the like Geto and Gojo, and just kind of like their dynamic. How it's pretty basic shonen dynamic. Like two OP people, like, and kind of like they're friends. They're kind of friends with their enemies. Like they kind of rival each other. You know what I mean? Also the story about like taking care of the girl, kind of just seeing a whole different life for that character is like Gojo and Geto. Both of them were very interesting. I think also it was very like heartwarming, like when because they clearly cared about the girl. I forget her name obviously, but they cared about her, like, and seeing her die obviously affected both of them very differently. Like, you know what I mean? I just feel like, yeah, that whole entire arc was great. Like, I really enjoyed it, honestly. Also, and then under that I put Toji. Toji is another pro. It's more obviously in the beginning, Toji, like his introduction, things of that nature. Then the second half, because when he comes back, he's like not really himself, you know what I mean? So, but like all that in the beginning was really interesting. Seeing, I don't know if they mentioned it before. I didn't know that was his dad, Fushiguro's dad. But once he mentioned it, I don't know why. Maybe because I didn't know. So when he said it, it was more of an impact. Does that make sense? Like, because I know people, I don't know, he probably did mention it before, or like they mentioned it before or whatever, but I don't know. But I know people already knew ahead of time, like, oh, that's Fushiguro's dad, oh shit. Like, but I didn't know. I just thought it was just another random nigga that was just boxing. Like, you feel me? He's just scrapping. And then once he's later on, he's like, oh yeah, I have a son. Like, do with that information as you will, or whatever. That was pretty cool. Another pro I have is just Geto. Geto in general is one of my favorite characters in the whole entire show. I just feel like his seeing his turning point was very interesting, because you actually understand his point, like understand why he made that decision and why he kind of like pretty much fell over the edge when it comes to like, I don't know if I should do this or not. But seeing the death of that girl and like how nobody really gave a fuck, and the fact that they find somebody else to go through that same situation, so it's kind of like that girl died for no reason, and like seeing all his homies die, like I truly understood why he became the villain, like you know, why he kind of just was like, fuck this shit, like I'm gone. I really enjoyed pretty much everything about his backstory. I enjoyed, and like I'm a big fan of that Fall of Grace, like that character that is obviously like has a good heart and has a good place, like mentally, kind of like just dissecting things and like turning evil, but for a good reason. Like I feel like, to compare it to like Naruto, I feel like Sasuke, I truly didn't feel like his turning evil was like not authentic, but like it just kind of wasn't believable. Like, yeah, he wanted to get stronger, but it just kind of like to fuck everybody over just to like get at your brother. It didn't feel like, oh word, like I get it, I understand why he did that. No, I didn't really get it. Like it didn't really make sense to me.
Yeah.
But everything that we saw with Geto was like, okay, I get it, 100%. I probably would have done the same thing, to keep it a stack. Like, to see all your niggas die, and like niggas don't give a fuck that all that sorcerers die, and like they don't give a fuck. Like, you know what I mean? Of course, like he would feel a separate way, especially when he saw that young nigga that was like, oh yeah, I'm here to be a sorcerer, and then like a couple weeks later that nigga was dead. Like, so it was just kind of like you understand his point. and it was impactful to see. Cause I just feel like in the first season he was just a face, like he was just another face, like you know what I mean, like but seeing and people always like they were talking about him and Gojo have a past, but it was just good. I truly felt like they probably should have showed some of this in the first season. I don't know if they did or not, but it didn't really I didn't catch any of it. Like I feel like they should have showed a lot of this in the first season. Because it adds a lot of dimensions to Geto and Gojo, you know what I mean? It's cool to see Gojo training and trying to figure out his powers instead of just being broken the entire time, you know what I mean?
And you notice too, like, kind of like in that whole arc, a lot of the characters were saying things through their actions rather than their words. Like Toji clearly cared about Megumi, but he never said he cared about him. You know what I mean? He kind of just said, "Oh, like he'll have like a facial expression. Like when he brought up Megumi Fushiguro, like he didn't really like. He acted like he didn't care, but at the same time, if you look at his face, you could tell like it meant something to him. You know what I mean? Like the kid meant something to him.
Yeah, I mean, he wouldn't have brought it up to Gojo if he didn't care. You know.
Yeah. And even Gojo never admits like to when he cares about someone, but through his actions you can kind of see that he actually really cares about people, like certain people. But he's more, you know what's kind of crazy about him though? He's more willing to like kill people, like innocent people, just to save the masses.
Talking about
Which is
Gojo?
kinda wild. Yeah, he's willing to do like a little bit of damage in order to save it. Because remember when they were fighting him, he did the domain expansion and fucked up all the humans there, kind of.
Well, he didn't. That's the thing. He did it, and then he shut it off. But he killed all the demons, or he killed all the curses before it affected any of the transfigured
humans. Those were still humans.
I know, but I'm saying like he didn't. I thought the way they were explaining it was, if he did his domain expansion, he would have killed the actual humans. But he did it and then shut it off, so he was able to like instantly kill the curses. Like I get what you're saying, but I just felt like if he really felt like he was willing to sacrifice human life, he would have probably just did his domain expansion anyways, like and killed some of the niggas in that subgroup.
He has a limit. I think he has a limit, but like he doesn't let that affect him too much.
Like death.
As a person,
you mean?
Yeah, death. Yeah, like killing like all those humans that were in there for 0.2 seconds. They were saying that they were like brain kind of damaged, basically. And
I know what you mean.
Like therapy, jujutsu therapy or some shit like that for their brains. I don't know if it said that in the anime, but it said that in the manga. They're unconscious. They got fucked up pretty bad.
Yeah, I understand. Like that's why he did it so fast. Like he turned it on and then turned it off so fast. Like because he knows if it lasted longer, it definitely would have killed those niggas.
Yeah.
But I get what you mean.
That scene was I ain't gonna lie, that scene was crazy.
Nah, that was definitely one of my favorite scenes.
I've never seen so much killing so quick, bro. Like I was like, nah, that nigga's a god. Like that nigga's really a god, bro. Like they forced his character's powers.
Yeah. And to continue on, Fushiguro, he's on my pros. It's funny because I remember I was having that conversation, and in the first season, he just really, I don't know, he just didn't do it for me. It was very, I'm gonna kill my mom, like very emo, like very like, it's just like he just it was giving very Sasuke, like too much, like annoyingly, like you know. But I have to say, in the second season, it's funny because he barely gets any like character development or anything like that, but he's one of my favorite characters in the second season. Like I really liked him a lot.
I remember I was saying he was a good character. You were roasting him.
Yeah, but I don't know what it was, but I think like I said, he's grown on me. Like I really didn't like him in the first season at all. Like I said, it was just giving Sasuke too much. But I feel like seeing more of his fighting style, how unique it was compared to everybody else's, like and just seeing more about his backstory and like where he came from, how like his father was, like all that stuff was really cool. And I feel like also the fact that they said like yeah, he has the potential to be as strong as Gojo was kind of cool. Um, but yeah, I have to give it that to you though. Definitely, he definitely grown on me. He's definitely one of my favorite characters in the show. And I'm not gonna lie, he probably should have been the main character. I'm not gonna lie.
But the thing is, too, I can see why you said that because I think I was talking like that because I already knew it was gonna happen. That's why.
Yeah, probably.
Because he wasn't really doing much in the first season. But also a pro for me. I like Nanami, bro. I thought he was a good character.
Nanami is the guy with the he wraps the tie around his friend.
Yeah.
Why do you say he's a? I'm talking about for the whole season. Why is he a pro for the whole season? Like, what is like?
So he's a pro for the whole season because basically he is he's a special grade sorcerer, right? Who kind of had an influence on all the people, like all the kids around him.
Definitely.
So his death had a huge effect on Yuji's growth, and I think that's very important. But also, as an individual, the reason why I like him is because in the beginning, that nigga didn't even care about being a Jujutsu sorcerer. He was just living a mundane life, and then he realized that being a sorcerer was way more important than collecting a check. You know what I mean? Even though he acts like it, you can see that he really actually cares about the job versus the job he was doing prior.
Did you get that in the second season, or are you getting that from just overall collective of the series and the manga? Because he barely had any lines in the second season, so I'm trying to figure out when did he figure that out?
Part of it was from the first season, because in the first season he was introduced, and basically remember that flashback of him working.
Yeah.
And he was in the, I don't know what type of job he was in, but he was just living life day by day, and he was a Jujutsu sorcerer prior to that. I guess he quit, but then he realized like why it is important to be a Jujutsu sorcerer, and basically he found purpose in being a sorcerer, even though like he felt like it was a mundane job. He felt like if no one else does it, like the world's kind of fucked, and I kind of respect that. I respect that about him because he realized that despite the fact that he doesn't want to do it, it's his duty. Like he feels like it's his duty to do it. And when you see his death scene, right, you can kind of see like he just wants to take a vacation. He just wants to be chilling on the beach, not having to worry about killing curses. But even despite that even despite him like hallucinating, he was still fighting while he was hallucinating. So it goes to show you like even though he wants that so badly, he feels like he has a duty to protect the people around him, regardless of how he feels. And I thought that was pretty ill way to go. You know what I mean? And then he didn't even want to put that burden onto the next person. You know what I mean? He didn't even want to put it onto Yuji. And you know how he was hallucinating that he was thinking about that sorcerer that passed away. You know that sorcerer that Ghetto was talking to that passed away? He was thinking about him, and then he said, "It's okay. You can say it." And then he tells Yuji like, "I'm passing the torch on to you." Then he dies. So I think I like him because I feel like he's a very honorable character. You can kind of see why he behaves the way he does.
That's interesting. I didn't get a lot of that, but you know, I understand where you come from with the death part, but the other part, I feel like he only showed up once he banged up that nigga, grabbed him by the hair, banged him up a couple times. Like,
I'm thinking of season 1.
That's why I'm trying to focus on season 2, like, cause if you take out all of what you just said, it was just the death scene, which the death is like up in the air, like for a character like. You might like the character, I might not. So like the death might not affect me versus it affecting you. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So but I mean, that's fine. You can say he was one of your favorite characters. Like that has not like I get it, but I was kind of focusing more on season 2, and I feel like he really didn't. He wasn't a big enough factor.
So was there any other than Ghetto? Was there any other villains that you really enjoyed?
Yeah, actually, my final pro for season 2 is Mahito. Just like it's funny because it's very similar to Fushiguro, where the first season I really didn't care for him. It was giving too much the nigga from My Hero. Like it was just like I forget his name. You know what I'm talking about. The touchy nigga, the K. It was giving a lot of that. But I guess it was just seeing how much fun he was having, seeing how unique his powers were. I feel like he probably has one of my favorite domains, which is really cool. Yeah, I feel like for a villain, I like Geto for the character, and I like Mahito for being a villain. Does that make sense? Like, I mean, obviously we didn't get any backstory on Mahito or whatever, but I'm saying like, just him being a part of the season was a plus, not a negative, you know. So I had to put him as one of the pros because I really enjoyed just watching him, and also like the fight at the end was cool. Like seeing him like turn up is always fun, you know. So I definitely have to put him as a pro because every time he was on screen, it looked like he was having fun, and I was having fun with him, type shit, you know.
It was kind of funny. The two characters, Jogo and Mahito, kind of touched on it. Basically, they basically they make their cursed behavior seem normal because they're no different from what humans are doing. They're no different from what sorcerers are doing. Sorcerers kill curses all the time.
Yeah, it's normal. It's normal for them, pretty much, like to do shit.
So
like
they're
that.
basically saying like, okay, what's wrong with what we're doing is not wrong because basically what we're doing is what you're doing.
Yeah.
And that's why Mahito was saying that to Yuji's like, yo, we're the same.
Yeah.
Me and you are the same, don't you get it? And then Jogo was saying the same thing where he says, oh, I want us to finally be the humans on this world, you know what I mean? To be the one that gets to walk around and not have to worry. So it's like you can understand why the curses are doing what they're doing at the same time.
Yeah.
Because they're getting killed, so alright, we gotta kill them. We're getting killed.
Yeah. Also, the fact that you brought that up as well. What's it called? The imagery between Yuji and Mahito when he was the wolf and Mahito was like the bunny rabbit running away. I feel like that was really sick. That was pretty dope.
Yeah.
It was just cool seeing that imagery. Like he was.
In the manga, that shit was much longer.
I mean, yeah, you know. But
That's it.
yeah, that's all I have for pros for the season 2. Obviously, I'm taking away from the animation. The animation's amazing. I don't have to say that. Like, you're dumb as fuck if you don't think the animation is fire. You're stupid as fuck if you don't think the fighting was amazing.
Fire, but there were some bad sketches. I heard like apparently like something was going on with Mappa though.
Nah, yeah, I know they were having like this crazy crunch and there was a whole bunch of shit going on with Mappa. But I'm saying like that's a base thing about the show that you know is gonna be good. You know the animation's gonna be good, and you know the action's gonna be good. It's just like, you know, what do you expect?
Yeah.
Also, I feel like last pro, I really like the opening song. It was really good. I felt with it a lot. Definitely a vibe.
Did you understand what Ghetto? Well, I think the guy's name is Norotoshi. Inside the actual name of the person that's in Ghetto's body. Did you understand what Chozo was saying? The blood dude.
You talking about?
Do you remember what he said? When he said Yuji's like my brother.
Yeah, I thought he was just like, oh yeah, we're like they're brothers. Like I thought they were just brothers. Like he just like I think something about like his memory, and he made him forget or something like that, right?
So I guess he's able to detect a person with the same bloodline in him, and I guess because he said it, he says I had 3 parents. my human mother, a demon, a demon, a cursed spirit, like basically had sex with a human mom, and then the third one was Narutoshi. I guess he infused his blood into him too as well. So I'm thinking, bro, because I don't even know myself. I'm thinking that they're related through Narutoshi. I think Narutoshi is Yuji's father.
Who is Yoritoshi?
Because he asked.
I said,
Yuji,
who is
like,
Yoritoshi? Who is that?
the brain.
Is
the
Yuji's
brain?
father?
Yeah, he's related to Yuji because he said your father had stitches on his head, right? And Yuji didn't say anything to Chozo at the time, but he kind of looked at him and saying like, yeah.
Oh, yeah, I didn't catch that.
So I think that's what's going on, and I think that's how they're blood related.
That's interesting, I guess. But yeah. Alright, yeah, we could just jump into cons, the things I have for cons. First things first, I gotta say, the power scaling in this show, man, it's very, like, it's very interesting to watch, like, you know what I mean? Off rip, I have to say, you gotta be honest, this is the Gojo and Sukuna show, right?
Yeah.
Like, you can't deny, that's something that is undeniable.
That's why they're in the position that they are, because they're too OP. If they have them in the show, everyone dies, everyone loses. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Because once when Sukuna comes out and Gojo's not there, it's like it's a wrap. And once when Gojo's there and Sukuna, well, they found a way to trap him, I guess, but like they had to trap him. Like, he's too much of a force of a character to have in the show.
Yeah. But I guess the reason why I put that as a con is just I just feel like when you're watching a show and you don't really truly know like how strong somebody is or how strong somebody is versus like a curse, like that random fucking grasshopper being mad strong for no reason, or like that random octopus nigga like almost taking out all four of them niggas. And they were like, yo, if Toji didn't come, we were all gonna die. And I'm just like, how? Like, especially the way they explain their powers. Like, the nigga can like, he's faster than the frames. like, you feel me? And it's like, and he lost his arm, and it's just like, I don't know, man. I don't know if it's me just being too critical, but like, when you show me these characters, like, what was the character that you mentioned earlier? The guy who was that you said that was one of your favorite characters. Nanami, the nigga with the frames, and Fushiguro, like just them like the way they explain their powers, and then the octopus guy. I understand he put them in his domain, but I just feel like that nigga shouldn't have really. Maybe if it was a 1v1 or a 2v1, but a 4v1, and he was still like they had no chance at all. Like they said we were gonna die if this nigga Toji didn't come. It just felt like
the reason why I don't like about his the way the powers work is that if you're in a domain expansion and you don't have a technique from the three families, like the Zane and I forgot the other two. You know how that guy, the Zane guy who did the frame shit, he was doing simple domain?
Yeah.
If you don't have those techniques and you're inside of someone's domain, you're pretty much lost. Like, and the other one that Megumi did, he did his own little domain to fight the other domain. So that way, like, the fish dude wouldn't have his full power to like just summon, because once you're in someone's domain, it's automatic hit. You can automatically get like fucked up. Like, their accuracy is 100%. Which I don't like that, because it's like, okay, why would you make something so complex like that?
But even then, they were still hanging with him. So is it 100%? They were all four of them. Like, yeah, they were getting hit, and he lost his arm, but like it's not like they were still hanging with him to a degree. Like, you know what I mean? So is it so? Because like if you had comparing it to every other domain, I mean, Gojo's domain, that's a one hit KO. Sukuna's domain, that's a one hit KO. That one, it wasn't really a one hit because they were hanging with him. Like, to a degree, obviously.
So, the guy was hanging with him just because he had simple domain. That's why he was able. Maki and Nanami were both getting fucked up, bro.
I mean,
they weren't hitting him. They weren't folding him.
when I say hang with him, I'm saying like you saying it's a one hit KO and it wasn't. You know.
I'm not. I never said it was one hit KO. I said it's.
But you're saying they lost. Like they would have lost regardless. Like
they would have lost. They would have lost. Absolutely, they would have lost. If Megumi didn't come through and did his domain inside their barrier, they would have died. There was no way they were getting out.
yeah.
Once when that old man, the only hope that they had was that old man, and once when that old man lost his arm, they're like, yeah, they were losing. They were dying. There was no way they were getting out unless someone else did a domain expansion within, they weren't getting out, or someone from outside helped them, they weren't getting out. And then if Megumi didn't hold on for that long, and Toji, who was in the domain too, was still there, and Megumi like closed his domain, Toji would have died too.
That's hard to believe, man. But
that's why I don't like the domain aspect, because once when you're in that shit, it's like pretty much half of the niggas that are in there are dead. Like,
side note, didn't Mahito put Yuji in a domain? Yuji and Thing in a domain, and then Sukuna busted him out. Was that happened in the first season, right? Mahito put Nanami and Yuji in a domain, and then
I believe so. Yeah,
Sukuna kind of shook. Yeah.
Came to save them.
All right. But yeah. Hey, it just didn't. It just didn't. It wasn't rocking with me, honestly. But you know, it is what it is.
I 100% agree. I feel like the power scaling needs some work. Even in the manga, like in their little like side notes, the creator says like, yo, like he be trying to explain like Gojo's power and shit like that, and he be trolling that. He like, yo, like none of this shit really makes sense. Like, oh, I made a mistake here. This don't make sense. Right here, this don't make sense. So I'm like, even he notices that there's an issue with the power scaling in this show. It's kind of complex. Like, I kind of hate that because a girl like Maki or like Toji, if they were in a domain expansion by themselves, that means they're pretty much dead.
Yeah. But yeah, like I said, it's strange because, like I said, it's very heavily focused on those two, where it's like characters like Fushiguro really don't get a lot of spotlight or development, you know? Even though, like I said, they say he has the potential to be as strong as Gojo. I don't know. It wasn't really vibing with me. I had to throw that shit on the cons. I don't really have a power scaling. Isn't like it was such an issue that I had to put it here versus other shows. I probably wouldn't give a fuck. You know what I mean? But I feel like I had to put it as a con here because I feel like no matter how hard they tried to explain it, my head wasn't wrapping around it. You know what I'm saying?
I don't understand.
Yeah.
I don't understand the Black Flash. I don't understand that either. Because I feel like everyone can do it.
That is true.
I don't understand what that is.
Another con I have is Gojo. Like you said, his powers are pretty broken, right? And I want to make this clear that there's no issues with characters that are broken. I would like them to be interesting characters to a degree. You know what I'm saying? With Gojo, it just feels more like there's a god here. Like there's like, you know what I'm saying? And just like they said, like the second he was born, he shifted the balance of the world. That's how powerful he was. You know what I'm saying? And to compare him to, I feel like I have to compare him to like All Might to a degree, right? Because All Might was that to their world, and majority of the time they have to get All Might out of the way, because if once they get him out of the way, they're able to just handle shit. You know what I'm saying? But I feel like maybe the way that All Might was written is just very more. He just felt more human, like somebody like an actual character, where I feel like where the hidden inventory arc was trying that. Like it did give him more development, and I really like that. That's why it's my favorite like arc so far, because it was giving me that. But the second they cut away from that and they go to the future, I mean the present, and just the depths they had to explain, like, yo, we have to get him in this bubble, get all the people here. We like, yeah, it's cool that they went that far to get him out of the way, but it just feels like the way they explain his powers, like nothing should really stop this nigga. Like, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
And even going back to the hidden inventory arc, seeing Toji even like able to like defeat him with no cursed energy. The reason why I didn't not like it was because of everything around it. Everything around it was great, like the development, and of course the explanation of like he hasn't been sleeping, like he was on 10 toes the entire time, so the second he got there he dropped his guard. Like, yeah, like I feel like yeah, all that makes sense, and I enjoyed it within the context of that arc because of how much character development we were getting and all that things. But other than that, Gojo is just very like he's very cool. Yeah, like obviously he's cool, but it's more like he's cool because the writer made him out to be cool, and made him out to be OP. Like obviously like the connections between him and Kakashi are there, but with Kakashi I felt like he earned that right to be that nigga.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And I'll always have respect for niggas who earn that shit versus niggas who they're telling me, yo, he is that nigga. Watch out for him. You know what I'm saying?
It almost felt like he was gifted to be that way, because he was gifted with those eyes. You know what I mean?
Gifted with the eyes and the infinity. Those the two things that you shouldn't get. Like they were like, yo, these two things are hard to get. He's one of those few childs that had it for years. So it's like, I don't know. There's just certain things about things like that I feel like as a writer you can overcome that. But I feel like he doesn't want to. He's just like, yo, I made him to be this. He's there for plot reasonings. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, I know some people. Continue, go.
They made him more like, when Toji did that to him, he trained his body, his powers in a way that it would replenish itself, so that he wanted, like, even if he's using his powers, it's not really using too much cursed energy. So basically he can do that shit for like for life, nigga, like for life. Like every time when he's walking around he's using it. Like he never has it off anymore. And I think that's OP to have him be able to do that. Like and they even said it, like, yeah, I trained my infinity to be activated at all times without using too much cursed energy, so I can use it all the time and replenish it. I'm like, that's cheap. What the fuck? How you gonna do that to a character, bro?
Yeah, it makes it, because it makes it to the point where they have to get rid of him before they do anything, right? And now this is the second time they've done it within 2 seasons, and it's kind of like, are they just gonna keep doing that? That makes his character less of a character and more of a plot device, and I just don't rock with that. Like, obviously there's other characters like One Punch Man, like there's characters like that, but they're more characters than plot devices, and I feel like I feel like Gojo is too much of a plot device for me to be like, oh, I fuck, like, he's my favorite character or some shit like that. It's like, he's a lot of flash and not that much substance. But that's, yeah, that's just how I feel personally. I know niggas are gonna hate that, but it is what it is. Like, that's just how I feel.
But that's 100% true, though.
Yeah.
100% true.
Also, alright, so for the next part, I have the main man, Yuji. He's on my cons list. So,
damn.
Yeah, he still hasn't grown. Like, other than, unlike Fushiguro and Mahito, I still don't fuck with Yuji. I just feel like it's funny because the show was better when he wasn't in it. Am I wrong for feeling that way? Like the Gojo arc and finding out, like, and yeah, the Shibuya arc, but like everything other than him was really, I fucked with it. Like when he wasn't in the show, I was fucking with it more. I don't know why. It just is what it is. Like I just wasn't, like, he just wasn't doing it for me.
I'm not gonna sit here and act like Yuji's like an important character to me because he's not.
Yeah. Like you said, the thing about him, all he really does is Black Flash, right? And it's kind of like, that's not even unique. Like, that's not even like I was doing a lot of research on the show just to see like just how different everybody's abilities are and things of that nature. And obviously the main character doesn't have to have something unique like a Naruto or like a Deku or something like that. Like, but I just feel like he really went the bland route. Like, and I feel like I know I'm not the only one who feels this way. Like, there's a lot of like dialogue and shit of that nature like online where it's like people wonder if he doesn't like you, if the creator doesn't even like Yuji himself. Like, you know what I mean? Like, why not make your main character the most interesting person? Like, I know you're not, like, every character has to be interesting, but I feel like he went out of his way to not, like, to make that nigga a regular Joe, an average Joe, like, you know what I'm saying? And it just wasn't, there was nothing there for me to latch onto, like, as a character. Like, there was nothing there, like, zero. Like you said, yes, at the end of the season, he gets that part where he's like, yo, me and Mahito, yo, we are the same. Yeah, that I can give you that much development, but that's not enough. Like, that's still that's still underwhelming. It's been 2 seasons, and that's all we got from him. Does that me and Curses are the same? I mean, I guess, sure. I'm not gonna lie. After rethinking it, I high-key feel like Yuta from the Zero movie. Yeah. I feel like Yuta should have been the main character of this show. Like he has that underdog feel. Even though I know that's not every character, like, obviously, but I just feel like he still has that. There's still growth for him there, like, as a character, as a person. That his moves are interesting, like his character arc from the movie on has been interesting. It's just I high-key feel like Yuta should have been the main character. I don't know if I'm the only one who feels that way, but I definitely wanted to know more about him. Also, to add more onto what I was saying, I was looking up research on Jujutsu Kaisen's power system, and it's very broad, but I feel like it's still good. Like, it's still a good power system. There's like the domain expansions, there's the simple domains, there's the curse energy traits, there's the reverse curse techniques and the curse tools. Yuji has none of that. Like, he has like all he truly has is Black Flash.
He's still pretty new into the Jujutsu world, so he doesn't really have anything. But at the same time, he had a natural ability of super like strong strength, and that obviously has to come into play with. Well, I'm just putting two together. he has to be part like demon or something related to Narutoshi or something like that. Cause he's way too strong just to be jumping up two like 4-story buildings and shit like that. You know what I mean? And even his grandfather said like, hey, like you're a really strong kid, even before he was in the Jujutsu world. So he was like, and now he knows how to manipulate his curse energy. So basically like a Rock Lee, with like opening the gate, basically. Because all he can do is.
Nah, I know what you mean. He's very similar to Rock Lee. I know what you're talking about, but I feel like even Rock Lee was interesting. Like, it's not enough. I need, and it's been 2 seasons.
I wasn't saying that to make it seem like it was interesting, but I was just saying that like he's still just a beginner, and I don't get how a beginner is fighting special grade curses like the way he is, with so little techniques that he has, and everyone, even Mahito was doing Black Flash. So I was like, okay, so what is this? And apparently you can't do it at will. The manga says it's not.
Yeah, it's a special. It's like something hard that it was hard to do, even though in the first season he learns it in 1 episode.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah. And it's something. I heard it's something you can't do on will alone. Like you can't command Black Flash to show up, but yet he does it. He does it every other fucking episode. So that's why I'm kind of confused.
He did it like 4 times in the final fight, bro. Like, it was actually pissing me off. I'm not gonna lie.
It says no in the manga. It says no Jujutsu sorcerer can do Black Flash on demand. No, but I don't get like if you can't do it on demand, why does it appear? Like how does it come to show? That's why I feel like he needs to do better explaining with the system. Or maybe I'm just not reading the manga the right way. I don't know if I'm going crazy.
I don't know. I just know it's not like the idea of him not being a good character. Like I didn't just pull that out of my ass. Like there's a lot of people who feel the same way. So I know I'm not crazy. Like you know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Also on top of that, they gave him a weapon in the first season, and he just never used it again. So I mean, it's not like they're not giving him things to like get stronger or things of that nature. You know what I'm saying? It's like I don't know. I feel like it's very reliant on what he has and Sukuna. Like you know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
That's where it comes to Sukuna and Gojo kind of just being plot like service to the plot versus actual people and actual characters. But that is what it is. What it is. For another con I have, there was a lot of expedition dumping this season. Like I feel like there was way more than the first season. I don't know if that's true or not. Which is funny because in the first season you should probably do more exposition to explain everything. But I feel like in this season there were just literally 80% of the dialogue was somebody explaining something to somebody. Like explaining what was going on to somebody, and it took me out of a lot of the fights. Even though, like, obviously I'm not there for just the fights. Like, it is important to explain what's going on. But if you have to explain every single fight, every single move that somebody just did, it kind of, it's like, that's so anime tropey, it's annoying. Like, you know what I mean? Like, niggas make fun of that in memes and, like, in videos. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, oh my god, did he just do the Black Flash? How is he supposed to do that? And then he's like, so somebody drawing it out. And I feel like the way they did it with the Gojo thing was better just because they used the visual of like the bubbles and stuff. I feel like that was cool, but everything else was literally like nobody was just talking like humans. Like, you know what I mean? Like real characters. Like a lot of the things people were saying were just straight up explanation, and I feel like it was just too much for me personally.
You know what was crazy? The chemistry between Yuji and Toto fighting. It's like, there's no way nigga could be so in sync with a nigga like that. Like that fake, that last hit when he did to Mahito, bro.
Yeah.
When he act like he was about to clap. I was like, nah, there's no way someone could be that in sync.
No niggas are just locked in, I guess. Yeah. Yeah, I agree with you. Also, okay, what else we have? Um, to add on to that, I feel like to the exposition dump, I feel like there was a lot of veil talk bullshit. Like a lot of it was just this veil, like it's impenetrable, and then like I feel like everybody was talking about veils and domains, and like it was just a lot, like to the point where like I didn't care to like understand what was going on. You know what I'm saying? To go back to what we were talking about earlier, yes, complex is good, but it has to be complex to a point. I know I'm not the only person that truly didn't understand certain things that were going on. No matter how many times you read it, no matter how many times you went back and try to like, I hate when people, because I've watched other people's reviews of the season just to hear what they say, and a lot of people will say like, we'll just instead of explaining it, they'll just take what the anime said word for word and like, yeah, doesn't that make sense? And it's like, no, I'm sorry, I need to truly understand everything, or like I don't care. Does that make sense? If you can't explain it enough for me to understand it, I'm just gonna kind of just like, oh, all right, I guess I'll just take that for face value, you know?
What I don't understand too about the power system is the curse energy and reverse curse energy. Man, I still don't get it to this day. Like,
So
why is there two different energies?
so from what I don't know if this is true. This is just what I've heard. We're like, because it's like two negatives equal a positive, something like that. Where like, they have cursed energy, so that's a negative, and then them doing something, them having like a cursed weapon or something like that. I don't know. It was all I know is like it was like two negatives equals a positive or some shit. That's. I was just like, bro, is this math class, bro? What the fuck's going on, bro? That shit was
Yeah, it
pissing me
doesn't
off.
make sense to this day. And I read the manga twice, so and it still doesn't make sense to me.
Like I feel like me personally as a writer, if I'm overthinking things that much, I already lost the audience, you know. Maybe anime fans are so used to like doing homework. I'm not. Like I just like hearing things and understanding it. Like, you know what I mean? And it's funny because Hunter x Hunter was way more complex, and I understood that because of the way they explained it. You know what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm.
I don't know. That's just me. Another thing, character development throughout the whole season. Who do you feel like had the most character development this season?
The most character development in this season.
Yeah.
To be honest, I thought it was Yuji. To be honest, because Fushiguro, I don't think anything changed about Fushiguro other than the fact that he wants to become stronger. That's it.
Mm-hmm.
He's always wanted to become stronger.
That's my point, bro.
I mean,
That's my point. The fact that Yuji got the most character development, that's my point. Like, you know what I'm saying? I don't really feel like I have to say too much about that, but that's my point. Very underdeveloped, very underwhelming. That's all I really have to say about that. I just feel like character development in general with all characters was just very underdeveloped and underwhelming. You have anything to say about that?
No, you're right. I just want to so if anyone watching this, if they understand the reverse versus curse energy, like, please leave a comment saying it, because I've tried to figure it out and I still don't. I don't know if it's because I'm math dumb or something.
I don't know.
It's not making sense to me.
Yeah. Alright. I feel like the show often doesn't spend enough time exploring the characters or letting things sink in. You know what I'm saying? And it's gonna continue on to my other con, but to jump off that into my other con is the deaths.
Yeah. This thing got so many clocks.
Yeah, yeah, I do. I only got like five left or something like that. The deaths. It goes back to the character development. I can't care about a character's death if I didn't see them grow or I didn't see some type of inkling of development. Mahito, right? No, not Mahito. Nanami. His death was. It felt very like shock value ish, and that's what I felt like it was for a lot of the characters. Like the shorty. There's a reason why I don't know her name, but you know what I'm talking about, the shorty nigga with the nails and the hammer.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? I feel like out of all of them, I did somewhat care about Nanami's death because I understood he was like he fucked with Yuji, he cared about like what he was doing, like like he said he was a very noble person, and I felt that when he came in to save them, like the girls, and he was just fucking up that nigga, like that shit was raw, like I fucked with it, like you feel me, like so, but I do feel like how impactful would these deaths be if it was at least 2 more seasons ahead, or like 1 more season ahead? You know what I'm saying? The fact that, this isn't. So like, I feel like I had a similar issue with Attack on Titan but I feel like even Attack on Titan wouldn't have killed characters as important as these characters were in the 2nd season. You know what I'm saying? Like, it definitely felt very shock value ish. Like, obviously it goes into the power scaling. That scene showed me how strong Jugo was, or whatever the fuck the volcano head nigga was. Cause like I just thought he was just a regular nigga, obviously, like a regular curse. But the fact that
fault, bro.
I mean, yeah. I could see how everything kind of trickles down because it took 3 of them to fight Gojo. So I would just assume that at least they would put up somewhat of a fight, but like they just all instantly burned. Like that was it, gone. And it was just kind of like, am I supposed to shed a tear for this nigga or something? Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, for a character that I know his backstory, I know what's going on, but in the context of this season, he just came here to help. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, they just came here to help. So there was no like, oh, I hope he doesn't die. So the fact that he died was like, oh shit. Like, it was very like they're doing this for shock value versus like it's important to the plot for him to die. Even though obviously you could kill a character, it doesn't matter. But if you want me to care about the character, I definitely feel like this arc should have been pushed out for like a season or 2, because then I would have been like, I would have really seen him grow with Yuji, teach him like on some Jiraiya type shit. Like, I feel like they were going for Jiraiya and it didn't hit.
I feel you. I feel you on that part. I never thought of it that way though. That's crazy. If they did extend it a little bit more, did more missions together, had him train Yuji more stuff. He didn't even train Yuji, honestly. Like, not like that. I don't know. I see what you're saying. That's true.
And it goes the same for the shorty. Like, there's a reason why I don't know her name, but like it goes. There was no way they really thought like they got me like with her death. Like, no, please, no. Like, I was just like, I don't give a fuck, bro. Like, I'm sorry. Like, it's crazy because like on the opposite end, in the first season, she truly didn't give a fuck when Yuji died. Like, yeah, she was like, damn, that sucks. Fuck, Yuji died. Like, that's all she really did. And like the fact that when she died, Yuji's like, no. I was just like, I don't feel that connection between them. Like I said, this whole arc would have been more impactful if it was a couple seasons further. People compare this arc to the war arc in My Hero. You know what I'm saying? And they say a lot like, oh, this did it better than My Hero, or like, look at them, they're killing characters to show you how strong. Like, bro,
They
killing.
said that?
Yeah, I've seen that like a lot. Like
Nah.
they didn't kill any important characters in My Hero. Like that's why the arc didn't really hit that much. And it's like they don't have to do that. You know what I'm saying? Like that's not what the show's about. It's not about.
It doesn't do it though, eventually.
Yeah, I'm saying. Yeah, like fucking what's his name? Uh, the teacher with the fucking the dry eye. What was his name?
Aizawa.
Bro, Aizo was cutting his leg off was way more impactful to me because of everything we've been through with the nigga. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Like that girl's death would have hit way more harder if we barely even did they even speak to each other in this season? Oh yes they did when they were going to go see the movie or whatever. That was it.
Yeah.
I just felt like
Yeah, the squad was really split up this season.
this in pretty much the entire season. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So I have to think of it in another show. Like, imagine if Sakura died. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, I would have felt that more just because of the journey they went on. This is the second season, and the difference between this and Attack on Titan is like when you're killing important characters. And on Attack on Titan, it's obviously used to show like they're ants compared to these niggas, these titans, obviously. And yes, they wanted to show that with this, but the character specifically that died, I didn't feel anything for that character. Like I understood that yes, these curses are very strong, but I'm talking about the character that died. Like now that the shorty's gone and Nanami's gone, it's kind of like nobody's gonna be able to take their roles. You know what I'm saying?
She's clearly not dead though.
Oh yes, he was like, oh, like she has one. It's not 0. It's not 0%. I remember him saying that.
Yeah.
But she might as well be dead, bro.
Clearly not dead. Like the way how is like how you gonna kill her and then say she's not dead? Basically, she's not dead, bro. If that they wouldn't have put that in if she was gonna die.
Alright. But do you understand where like it's coming from? My thoughts and all of like, it's about the impact. Like how impactful would have been if we actually seen them like grew together. Like of course in the first season she didn't care about his death because they barely knew each other. Duh. But in the second season, like imagine how important it would have been to see flashbacks of them like before, like so we could really maybe she did die, like or like just something. Like I just wanted more from the people who died, when a lot of it just felt like shock value.
Because based off the pace that I see on the show, I feel like the show's gonna be not a long show.
I know.
The way how I already feel like it's on Shippuden level right now. Like everywhere there was a huge ass war, and then you see a couple of days later, and it's telling you what's going on with everybody.
The aftermath and shit.
Yeah, and Jujutsu don't want him to come back. They don't want that nigga to come back.
Yeah.
They're trying to kill Yuji. It almost feels like it's on Shippuden right now, like on some Shippuden shit, and it's only been 2 seasons. So
And I feel like it's very unearned.
that-
I just feel like it's unearned.
Maybe that's why it's so sped up. It's because it's probably a really short show. But I feel like they should make it a longer show, and they should build that chemistry between the main characters.
It's super important,
Absolutely.
man. It's super important to.
Because if I remember on the I know One Piece has been going on for decades, but if I remember on the Straw Hat crew died, bro, you know how bad that would hurt everybody.
But imagine if they died in the second season.
Yeah, that wouldn't be the same. It wouldn't be the same. Like when Ace died, that shit was the hardest. I ain't gonna lie, I feel like that was the worst death of anime I've ever seen. Bro. I was like, they really killed that nigga Ace like that.
I never seen it, so I wouldn't know. But I just know Ace. I know like what happened to Ace. But
when Aljumar and Jiraiya died too, that shit hurt.
Yeah, I felt that. I felt it definitely with Jiraiya's death, because just like the growth we've seen from him, like where he's been, where he's going, the fact like, and they had to jump him, shit was crazy. All right, Toji's resurrection, I wasn't fucking with it. It felt a lot. It felt very just to do it. there was no real point. If he didn't come back, other than like him saving them, it didn't. It just felt pointless, in my opinion. What's your thoughts on that?
I think the reason why they put Toji there for two reasons. To display, well, I think it's to display the potential that Maki also has, even though it's kind of like a small thing, because they were basically saying that's like a elite Maki right there. Like that's how Maki can get. That's a level where Maki can get to. Also, to kind of give Fushiguro like a hint of where he comes from, basically, kind of. To introduce the character to show like, hey, like this is your father, basically, which I don't really think is really significant. I think they can always just show that in a different way. And then the third is like basically just to get them out of the situation that they were in.
Okay.
But
So let me rebuttal everything you said. One, he didn't tell him he was his father. He still doesn't know. He still didn't know.
yeah,
So that was there's no point of that. That's one. Two, to show his like where he could be. I mean, sure, but they already said it from the jump that he had potential to be as strong as Gojo. So I don't see the connection between seeing
not
his
him,
father.
Maki.
No, wait, Maki.
Maki's
Fushiguro?
the girl with the glasses.
Wait, what does Maki have to do with anything? I thought you were talking about Fushiguro.
No, yeah, Fushiguro. So the points I was trying to make, I was trying to say that the reason why he was there was just to kind of give Fushiguro a kind of like an incentive to figure out who his father actually is, because even though he doesn't know that that's his father, he's like, yo, like, who is this Toji guy? Like, and why did he come up to
He'll
me?
eventually figure it out.
Yeah, figure it out, yeah. And then I said it was to introduce how strong Maki can be, because I would say that because it's like she's not able to use curse energy just like him, and she was saying like, yo, like that guy's kind of like me, but like that's how I can. She basically said like, damn, I can become that strong. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I get what you're saying.
Which is not really significant because he could have got that strong without him showing up in the show.
That's a fair
And
point.
the third is just to save them, basically.
Okay.
By luck.
Yeah. The only one I could give you is the first one, showing how strong Maki could be, especially because they made a point to say like, oh, did he just grab that from me, pure strength? Like, you feel me? Like they made a point to mention that. That's true. But to save them, that's where it goes to the point where it's like I didn't like that whole domain thing in the first place. So so just him coming through to save them is just like, oh, all right. Like the hype for me when we saw him come through was like, oh, like he's gonna talk to Fushiguro or like he's gonna like something. No, nothing. All he said is, yo, what's your name? And he said, oh, Fushiguro, and then he kills himself, and he's like, oh, that's cool, or some shit. So it just felt very forced. Like, yeah, like plot. Like we needed something to save, like save them or something. Like it goes to that that point where Gojo and Sukuna is, where it just felt like he was just there for the plot versus him, because they've been doing that transformation technique for years, and the fact that they did it with him and he just took over, it was just kind of like, alright, sure, whatever.
Yeah.
To continue on, Geto being a puppet ruins why I even liked him. Like, it ruins everything about why I fuck with the character. It's funny because I put Geto in my pro early on when I was making the list, and then I had to put him in the con. Like, it literally took me out of it completely. Like, I don't know if they explained it earlier, like, or if like they explained it in the movie, or like something. When they revealed what was happening, I was just like, why? Why would they do that? That's so
It took
dumb.
away that whole. It took away that whole flashback.
It took away that whole reason why, like, you even cared about him. Like, you even cared about Geto. Like, seeing the Geto and Gojo, like, when they first saw each other, he was like, wait, I killed you. I thought you were dead. And I was just gonna be like, nigga, he's that strong. Like, he just came back or some shit. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, but the fact that it was just like, he's being controlled by somebody else, and then he like grabs his neck, and like it's just like, honestly, it just took me out of it completely. Like it's like, cause he's the main villain. Am I wrong? Or no? He's the main villain.
Naruto, yeah.
So it was just like, I don't know, seeing like Shredder being controlled by somebody or something like that. Like, you feel me? Like somebody who you clearly, like, him and Gojo were like toe to toe. Obviously, when it comes to strength, Gojo was light years ahead, but he just wasn't. He wasn't trained enough to like be at that level. You feel me? He was still like they were. I really felt like they were like close in somewhat power level. You know what I'm saying? Mm-hmm. Until Gojo fully figured out everything and never lets off the infinity and the shit like that. Like, that's obviously he became a different type of nigga. But I'm saying, like, it made me, the whole first arc made me so invested into that character, into like the reason why he changed, and like seeing all his homies die, and like all that shit was great shit. Great character development. You feel me? And then the fact that they were just like, oh, let me just take off my head. It's a whole nother nigga. Don't even worry about it. You feel me? Like, it was just like, why would you do that? Why? Like, do you have any thoughts on that?
And it makes you feel like the main reason why he and Yuji are there is just to be like vessels.
No.
That's it. They're just there to be vessels. They're not really like important characters other than providing for Sukuna and Narutoshi, basically. And we don't even know what Sukuna wants to do. Like, he's kind of weird too. We don't even know what he wants.
I agree. But yeah, I didn't like that at all. It took me out of it. It really, like, it was funny because I'm watching the show, and when I write down like my points of my pros, I'm like, damn, like, I'm about to tell Stefan, like, I fuck with Geto, like, he's that nigga, like I totally, like, the villain, like, I like when the villain gets me, like, that's when I know a show is really good. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, when I fuck with the villain, I understand his like his views and shit. I'm like, damn, like, I like right after the hidden inventory arc, and I'm just like, yo, Geto, like, I get it now. Like, I fuck with him. Like, I want to see where this goes. You feel me? And it's just like, nah. Don't even worry about that, big dog. Like, that shit has nothing to do with nothing. Like, I was just so upset. Like, it actually pissed me off. I'm not gonna lie to you. Yeah. Also, to keep this shit going, the Shibuya arc in general just felt very long. Just like you said. It felt very drawn out. And I truly didn't feel like it needed to be. Like, I feel like there was a lot of parts that could have been cut out. You know what I'm saying? I feel like it was very focused. It was too many episodes spent on like unnecessary purposeless fights with random niggas that we never seen before. You feel me? Mm-hmm. And I get it. It's supposed to be a big scale thing. That's why it would have been more important and more impactful if it was a little bit further ahead down the line. You know what I'm saying? Mm-hmm. Yeah, like, they were fighting a lot of no-name characters for a little too long. Like, you feel me? A little too long. Like, that's just how I felt. I felt like it would have been more impactful, like I said, if it was in like season 3 or 4. That's how I felt. Any thoughts on what I just said?
I agree. I feel like there was a lot of fighting going on. Not that I don't like action.
Exactly.
I feel like it took away from the story. I feel like instead of having all this action, they can apply it more into the story so that people have a better understanding of what's going on.
Yeah. Because
2 seasons of not understanding what's going on at all, like an inkling of what's going on at all, that's not good.
It's not.
You know what I mean?
I agree.
I mean, I have some theories based off what I've seen, but it's like what they've showed us and told us is not enough.
Exactly. To jump off So now we're pretty much at the end. I have some questions. I would like for you to, if you know, I would like to hear what you think. How the fuck is Gojo an accomplice in the Shibuya incident?
Oh, you're talking about how the
How it ended?
how
You
the
saw, yeah.
how they accused him of being an accomplice, and that's why they want him to be sealed.
Yeah. I would love to
Yeah,
somebody explain that shit to me, right? Because the second it popped up, I was just like, what? Huh? Did everybody forget the reason why they showed up to save Gojo? Like, did they all forget that? Like, I'm so confused. Like, I was just like, wait, what? Like, I
So the Jujutsu world doesn't like. I understand like how it doesn't make sense to blame him in that way because like why would he do something like that? But the Jujutsu world like they don't like Gojo. Gojo is that person that they want to get rid of but they can't.
okay.
They don't like him. They never liked him. Like even in the beginning they were saying like even in the beginning he's like yeah a lot of people want me gone but and a lot of people want you gone but they can't touch you because I'm here basically because he basically ran Gojo ran shit. Like he went into that. That's why a lot of people like Akotsu, that guy with the sword. Like originally, like they didn't want him either. But Gojo's just that nigga that just is like, nah, he's gonna be alive, and I'm gonna put him on my crew, and you can't touch him.
Mm-hmm.
That's why, like they were saying, like ever since he was born, he kind of ruined the balance of the world. So who knows? Maybe in the next season they might say that he was the cause of that huge blast, and he was the cause of that fucking nuke fucking move that Sukuna did, or he was the cause of this because he allowed Yuji to stay alive when they wanted him to execute him.
Yeah.
So probably that's why they're accusing him. Like if he didn't stop us from killing him, this would have never happened in the first place.
Which is kind of a reach, honestly.
Yeah.
But the only way for me that I could see that this wouldn't work is if somehow they're like the Jujutsu like higher ups are somewhat corrupt or something like that. Because
They are corrupt, yeah.
it wouldn't really make sense for them to blame Gojo when they pretty much say like he's the savior. Like you feel me? Like everybody in the Shibuya incident knew like yo we have to like help him or like yo he sailed like oh shit he sailed that means we have to like go save him like you know what I'm saying. And I agree with you. Still to this day, I 100% agree that he's responsible for everything that has to do with Sukuna. Everything. That's all Gojo's fault. He definitely should have killed Yuji first episode. There was no real reason for him to keep Yuji. He should have killed him. That's just a factor like of life. Like so everything that has to do with Sukuna killing niggas, every single person that Sukuna kills is on Gojo's head. That's a fact. I agree with that 100%. I just feel like them blaming him for it doesn't make any sense to me at all. Like not even a little bit. Like I don't get it at all.
They blame them because they want him to stay sealed. They want him to stay sealed. They don't want him to get out.
So why would people who want to stop curses want somebody who's the strongest good guy to be gone? Do you know that? Do you know why? Like why don't they like him?
Because corrupt people like control, and if you have someone there that you really can't control, they don't like that shit.
Oh,
They don't like that shit.
I just felt like it's not like he's evil. Like you know what I'm saying? Like it's not like he's like tilting on like being evil or good or bad. Like he's good no matter what. Like he's always trying to do good. Like you feel me? So it's kind of like I don't like no matter even if you can't control him. Like y'all supposed to be good guys, right? Or like
I don't think everyone in there is a good guy though.
I mean,
I don't think everyone there is a good guy.
That's fair.
Cause they've been trying to get rid of the Gojo clan for a long time.
Oh.
That nigga, he's too much of a force. People just don't like imbalance. If someone's too strong, bro, like yo, what if this one day this nigga decides like yo, like he's a ghetto and he wants to start killing everybody? Like he can easily do that.
Yeah, that's fair. I mean, hey, that's a fair point. Like I can't combat that. I mean, I was looking at it more of like sure there's people who are corrupt or whatever, but that's the good guys. You know what I'm saying? Like, so that it just doesn't make sense that they would blame him. But like, if you say like, yeah, some of them are corrupt or whatever, then it's like, yeah, I mean, I guess that makes sense.
And then also, they also want the principal too.
Yeah, didn't he get fired or something? Oh no, he's they execution or some shit, right?
Yeah, they want him too.
Executed, yeah.
Because some people are on Gojo's side and some people are not. So whoever's on Gojo's side, they want to get rid of them. They want to be like, okay, like that's a threat. Like we don't want him to be unsealed, so we need to get rid of this dude. They really don't want him to come back. Which I think is stupid because he was the one that was keeping everything in balance.
That's what I'm saying. Like he was their All Might to a degree. So it's like,
yeah,
I don't know, whatever. I mean, yeah, that makes sense. All right, so my final con is something that we've actually talked about. It's just the longevity of this series. At the point that we are right now, there's only 4 more arcs left. Obviously, he could keep writing arcs, like, you feel me? Obviously, but with 4 arcs left, and within the 2 tournaments, I mean the 2 seasons that we had the tournament arc already, where the villains attack. We have that. You feel me? We have 15 out of the 20 fingers already eaten. We have the war. This is the war arc. I don't care. Like, this is pretty much the war arc. You feel me? Like, it was Jujutsu's versus fucking demons, like her curses. Like, it was a war. Like, and there was just people in between it. And then we have the death of important characters like Nanami and Hammer and Nails. Hammer time. So, you feel me? Or even if she's not dead or not, whatever. But like, they could never do that again unless she dies. You know what I'm saying? So you already kind of ruined that character to a degree just because they can never do that unless she dies next time. You know what I'm saying? So yeah, it's just kind of like the longevity of this series, where it's like, obviously I don't want a series to run as long as One Piece. Like, no, I don't want that personally. But at the same time, I don't want this to end in 4 seasons. You feel me? Like, at this, like, especially when there's so much they're trying to build up and explain, and there's so many, like, there's dimensions to, like, how things are, like, trying to find out more about, like, the Jujutsu higher ups and finding out more about the school. Like, I feel like we really didn't get a lot of that. So it's like, or finding more about the curses and Geto and more about his shit. I just feel like it feels like the way the person Gege, I don't know who it is, that nigga, the way he's writing it feels like he's not leaving enough breathing room, and it's a flaw. It's a flaw in my opinion to the series that definitely has potential to be a great series. You know what I'm saying? So the fact that they're not leaving enough breathing room, and it's funny because even Attack on Titan is only like 4 seasons or like 5 seasons of Attack on Titan. You know what I'm saying? But I still felt like they had enough breathing room, like, to like explore characters, explore like certain aspects of the series that I have a lot of questions about. So I don't know. That's just how I feel. I feel like the longevity, he's not leaving enough room for him to like breathe and, like,
it feels like the show's about to end.
For real.
It feels like the show's about to end.
And it just
that
started.
Fight, I felt like that was the ending. That was the ending fight. Like, that was like the last season.
That's really what it felt like. And it's like, that's not a good thing. You know what I'm saying? Like, I know it's lit for us as viewers because it's so action packed and everything's going on, but I just like to look at things in a wider, broader sense. Like, people are just, yes, people love this show, but it's still building a fan base. You know what I'm saying? I just feel like I don't know. I don't know. I feel like there's not a lot of breathing room, and I feel like if you're a writer, why would you put yourself in a corner so early? You know what I'm saying? Like the next arc is they're trying to kill Yuji. Like, you feel me? Like that's literally the next arc. That's almost like the vigilante arc in My Hero or something of that nature, where it's like the main character's alone, like he's by himself, like like the world's out to get him and shit. Like I don't know. That's just how I feel. I just feel like
I thought they were gonna do a time skip too, but it doesn't seem like it's gonna be a time skip.
yeah.
It's not gonna be far off from what actually happens. And I just got done reading that what happens next today, so
Yeah. And it's like like I said with the Gojo thing, like they can't trap him again. Like you feel me? Like if he get like that, because they did it the first season, they kept him out of the bubble, they forced him so like they could like do whatever they wanted. That was somewhat trapping him, even though he was able to fuck him up and get out of it, or go through it or whatever.
yeah.
And then they do it again with the second season. It's like, if they try it again, it's not. That's how you know this person is very just plot. Like he's not like an actual character.
I think when Gojo gets out, Norotoshi's gonna be super strong, because what he was saying is like, oh, I want to create this chaos because I realize the only way I can exceed my limits is through chaos, basically. To obtain new power through chaos, and that's what the Uzumaki is basically. It takes people's powers, basically like that. So I think he's trying to, like what he did with Mahito, he's trying to manifest stronger demons and let them understand their powers more, so he can absorb them. And I think by the time that happens, that's when like Gojo's gonna come out, and that's when like it's gonna get like serious. So when someone's there that can bang with him for real, he's gonna be able to get out. I think if they take this nigga out and no one can hang with him, it's like the show's over.
I mean, like I was saying, Sukuna. So like, I'm assuming that's supposed to be somewhat of the end game, like Gojo versus Sukuna or something of that nature. You know what I'm saying? That's why I feel like they're rushing the finger thing. Like that fingers thing should have been extended way longer than what it is. There's no real reason why this thing should be 15 fingers in at the second season. Like, cause the second he gets out, Yuji's irrelevant. Like, I don't give a fuck about that nigga at all. 0%. Like, nothing. So, you know what I'm saying? So, like, that's the main reason why they want him dead, because he has Sukuna in him. So the second Sukuna gets out or whatever, like, leaves him, Yuji's just gonna fall to the wayside. You know what I'm saying? And I just feel like, as a writer, why would you do that? Why would you do that? That's so, like, like we complain about things that like Dragon Ball Z or like Naruto for like continuing things, but like you could have drawn that out way longer, bro. Why would you have the shorties feed him 10 fucking fingers? Like, why would you do that? Like, you know what I'm saying? Like,
you know what I was getting it like it was gonna be like some Inuyasha with the shards, the jewel shards. I thought they were gonna like travel around Japan and shit and fight demons with the fingers.
Exactly. Like,
I thought that's the route that they were gonna go with.
Me too.
You know what I mean?
Me too.
But they didn't go with that. Surprisingly.
Yeah, it was the same issue that I had with the first season. Like, with the first season, he had, what, like 12 fingers already or some shit like that? Like, he had like 8, 9 fingers already eaten. It was just kind of like, what's the rush, bro? Like, if you're rushing to a point, we have to understand that point. We have to understand why you're rushing. Like, you know what I'm saying? But I feel like there's no real reason, because Sukuna still to this day hasn't really done anything important. He's just came out and boxed on niggas. Yes, we've gotten that whole cult of people who like, yo, we're ready for your return. We're getting a little bit more of that, but still I felt like 15 fingers and we're just getting a little bit of that, like that little bit of inkling of like people like waiting for Sukuna to come back and things of that nature. It's just like, I don't know. It's just weird writing.
one of my biggest concerns is that I really want to know if that the Sukuna that we see in the realm is actually how he looks. Cause why the fuck does he look like Yuji?
Yeah.
That's the only thing I want to know. I want to know if that's just they're just doing that just for the looks because he's in his body, or if that's how he really looks.
Me personally, I would just assume he doesn't look like that. That's just how I would assume. But who knows? We might find out he's fucking Yuji's his son or some crazy shit like that. You know, that's maybe why he looks like him or something stupid like that. But overall, I would say this season was good. It was pretty good. It was way better than the first season. I have to give him that.
You know what was crazy? We did all that roasting, and I still enjoyed that season.
Yeah, I did too. Like, it was still a good season. The reason why I'm so critical of it, people are calling this a masterpiece. People are saying this is peak anime. And for somebody who's not in that realm, that watches every anime, like, you feel me? Like, I'm going in seeing, like, okay, so this is peak. Like, this is supposed to be, everything is supposed to be perfect, like, to a degree. Like, obviously, some things should be faltering. But when people are saying masterpiece, it's kind of like, okay, I'm going in expecting a masterpiece. But the same thing happened for the first season, where the best parts for me in the first season were the fights and the animation. So I knew going in this season, obviously the fights and the animation were going to be what people were calling a masterpiece. But I'm going in and figuring out the plot. I'm figuring out the characters. That's what I'm looking for. Because I don't call anything a masterpiece. There's a reason for that. You feel me? Like, because you have to be hitting on every single cylinder. And when you're not doing that, it makes it feels like, if this is peak anime, if this is, you feel me? If this is, like, there's no way, bro. I just truly feel it. I truly believe, like, there's no way this could be peak anime. Like, there has to be things that are better than this, right? Like, you feel me? That's just kind of like the mentality I'm going in with this series. It's like, I know it's hype right now, obviously, and a lot of people have, like, recency bias, like, but I just felt like if this is a masterpiece, I would love to see what is above a masterpiece. Like I would love to see that. Like, you know, I don't know. That's just me though. But I would rate this season a 7.5 out of 10, personally. The first season I would have gave it. I gave the first season a 6, and this is 7.5. I would have gave it an 8 if Ghetto. If it was still Ghetto, I'm not gonna lie to you. If it was still Ghetto, I probably would have gave it an 8. Like, that, bro, that really took me out of it. Like, I don't know if they set it up or whatever. Like, that just took me completely out of it. I'm not gonna lie.
I feel like it would have been better, like, if they made Ghetto the first villain, and then they made Noritoshi
come back as Ghetto later on. Like, it would.
Yeah. That's what I was thinking.
I'm done, bro.
They should have made him come later on, or something like that. But hey, I'm just like, just because, like, it's moving so fast, and there's supposed to be more that's going on. Because I think the volume is around the same place that we're at right now. So I want to see, like, what he plans to do next. I want to see how he's gonna turn this around, because if he's doing this on purpose, he clearly has an idea of what he wants to do next. So I'm like, all right, look, I wonder how this is gonna unfold.
Yeah. At the end of the day, this could be, like, for him, it could be some shit where it's like, he's just he made this story, like, he's not on some Naruto shit. Like, he's not thinking about it being a franchise. Like, he's trying to make this series and then move on to something else. And I would understand that. But if he's not, it's kind of like you're shooting yourself in the foot with the way you're writing these characters. Like, why wouldn't you make the main character more interesting so people could, like, follow him more, like, care about him more, things of that nature. Like, what everything I've seen online, like, people just love the fact that he be banging. Like, like that's literally all people only talk about. Like, yo, that nigga be out there fighting, like, he don't give a fuck who it is, he fighting, and it's like, yeah, that's cool, like, I like that, but, like, what else? There's a reason why all other main characters are, like, propped up, like, I don't see anybody looking at Yuji like, yo, you have to save us, like, you feel me? Like, on some Deku, Naruto, Goku type shit, like, I don't see that. Like, I don't know.
Not honestly. People don't look at Yuji as a major factor in the show yet,
and that's bad.
They look at him as a danger, basically.
That's bad. Me personally, I wouldn't write a character like that. Like, I would want people to root for my main character. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, I would want people to. I don't know. I'm not a writer, so I don't know what he's planning. He might flip the script like at the end or something, but I feel like it might be too late. You feel me? Like, this third season, he has to have the most character development at a, like, OD, like, for me to actually care about him. Like, he has to, like, it has to be episode. Like, and people say, oh, his character development is the fact that he gets his ass beat all the time. It's like, no, that's not enough. Like, just because he's not winning every fight doesn't mean he's not, like, you know what a Mary Sue is, or like a Tom Sue, like somebody who like has no flaws, or like somebody who wins every fight, like, or things of that nature. People don't like those type of characters because there's nothing to latch onto that humanizes them or whatever. And I feel like just because he loses a lot of fights doesn't mean he's not still that. He's, you know what I'm saying? Like, he's, but whatever. That's all I got on that, man. What would you rate the season?
No, it's kind of funny. I rated it at 7. But you know what I kind of find interesting? Like, no one knows how the Arthur looks.
No.
Like, I feel like he hides his identity.
I feel like that's most. That's most. I feel like, isn't that most manga art, like, writers, just so they don't get, like, pressed in real life and all that extra shit.
I feel like everyone always knows them though. Like, they at least have their photo on Google or something like that.
Doesn't the One Piece nigga cover his face?
No, everyone. Well, he does now, but I think he's like sick right now.
Oh.
You're talking about Oda, right?
Yeah. I remember seeing the live action cast. They went to go see him and they just covered his face. So I was like, oh, I guess he's just one of those niggas. Like,
if you search him up on Google, his face does pop up though. You know what I mean?
And that's cool.
I don't know why this person's a mystery.
But yeah, that's all I got for that, man. It was better than the first one, right? That's all you really asked for. It was better than the first one. So I'm gonna watch season 3. I'm gonna watch it. I'm not, like, after the first season, I really didn't want to watch the second season. Like, I didn't care at all. Like, but after this season, I could at least say, like, I'm interested, but I'm interested to see where it goes, but I'm also interested to see if it falls off as well. Does that make sense? Like, or if it stumbles at the end. I'm also very interested because I've never seen the hype for a series as much as this one. I don't.
It hit you with like a Hail Mary, bro. Like, it hit you with like, oh shit, this is fire. What the hell?
Yeah, but in my opinion, I feel like, cause I heard the creator of this show and the creator of Chainsaw Man are friends, and they take inspiration from each other or whatever. I feel like Chainsaw Man pulled it off way more when it comes to its first season, at least. You know what I'm saying? Like, I'm super interested to see season 2 of Chainsaw Man. You know what I'm saying? Like, to see where that goes. Like, I'm super interested, but I could at least say I want to see season 3 to see where it goes. That's all you can ask for from a nigga, like, who didn't really like the first season. So, yeah.
Glamour of wearing diamonds.
Diamonds bring
Status.
elegance and prestige. Their brilliance makes
Brilliance.